lovelies, to the Ultimate Dance Business Podcast. My name is Deborah Laws, the dance business expert. My passion is to help you turn your passion into profit while guiding you to work less and earn more. I'm super excited to share interviews with you that I know will inspire and motivate you in your schools, as well as my solo shows where I shall be sharing some great tips and strategies. So if you love the show, please do remember to review, subscribe, and share it with your fellow dance boss friends. So let's get stuck into the business of dance. Hello, everybody. I am thrilled to have you with me today. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about bragging rights. Now, by bragging rights, I mean blowing your own trumpet, talking about your successes, your students' successes, your team's successes. I think this is something that some of us really struggle with, especially those of us that are here in the UK with me. I think in particular, the British are really well known for, not wanting to boast when they've done something well because they don't want to be seen as being big-headed. And I know this is quite possibly something for everybody in the world, but I think we are particularly bad at this, which of course isn't great when you run a business, because the whole point of having a business is that we let everybody know what we do, how good we are at it, and then prove it through our social proof to raise our credibility, to make us the go-to person, to bring in more customers, more clients, more students, to make more money so that we have a proper business. And it's just part of what running a business is all about. But it's something that I know a lot of you have huge struggles around. And so I just thought today I would kind of broach this subject a little bit. And my hope by the end of today's podcast is that just a few of you, if not lots of you, actually, that would be a better hope, go away thinking, I can actually brag a bit more. I will brag a bit more. And Deborah's helped me to change my mindset around that. So let me talk a little bit first about how somebody buys something. So in other words, like the psychology around sales. Now, our version of somebody buying something, of course, is somebody coming to your school and signing up to do classes. It's the same thing. It's a value transaction. I'll pay you money. You give me something in return. And in our instance, it's a service. It's classes. Sometimes there's product involved, but generally it's classes. So there is the same buying psychology mindset of parents or adults coming to buy classes as there is somebody going and buying a toilet brush. It's the same thing. There has to be an element of, you have something that I need or I would quite like, and you are the one I'm going to choose above all the other things that are available, all the other toilet brushes on the shelf. So which one am I going to purchase? So imagine there are 10, I don't know why I came up with toilet brushes, but let's just keep going with it. There are 10 toilet brushes on the shelf. Some are white, some are very cheap, some are very plasticky. Some look like they're going to break within seconds. Some have a much better quality. Some look really sturdy and they look like they're made of better materials. Then there are the ones that are strong, sturdy, they look like good quality, and they have some sort of design factor around them that makes them a bit more appealing to you. Maybe it's a bit of a funky toilet brush. Maybe it's one that goes on the wall instead of sitting on the floor. Maybe it self-cleans, who knows? And then there is the toilet brush that's sitting there that is a bit unusual. It's good quality, but it also has the highest reviews, like 5-star reviews. It's a bit more expensive, but it's the one everybody is raving about. And they're raving about it because the manufacturer of said toilet brush has shouted about, these are our reviews. This is how long it lasts. This is how many we've sold. These are the awards that we've won due to innovation. They are really, really good at telling you why you should buy this toilet brush. And they've backed it up with proof. They've actually made themselves stand out like a sore thumb because they're the most credible, the best value, the most innovative, the most appealing, the most visually appealing. Like They have sold out. All the other toilet brushes are still on the shelf, but that one has sold out. And what they have become really, really good at is explaining why you need to buy from them and then backing that up with results. So let's now get rid of that analogy, because I think we've talked long enough about toilet brushes. Let's talk about you in your school. I hear time and time again, Deborah, I'm really struggling. There's loads of schools around me, or there's a new one that's just come into my building and started up. And, people are struggling to be seen. They're struggling because of their competitors. And sometimes people have been running their school for 15, 20 years. And, their school's sitting at the same sort of numbers and they're struggling to build it or struggling to make it into the really big business they wanted it to be or successful business they wanted it to be. And a new person comes along and within 2 years, they've got more students than you. And it's like, why? And actually, I remember being in that position myself. I knew I had the highest qualifications in the whole of my county. I knew our classes and our professionalism and our standard and our teaching and our legacy and our everything was better than this new school. I don't even know if the new school, the teachers were qualified. Like it literally was one of those. But what were they really, really good at that I wasn't good at? They were really good about being seen, about bragging and telling everybody they were the best, why they were the best. And then they were really good at getting their parents on board so they also bragged on their behalf. So before you know it, it's not the best school that ends up being the most successful. It's the school that is able to brag and back it up the most. So I thought I would just share with you guys today the planners that I have produced for dance school owners, because these are flying out of Amazon like hotcakes. And if you don't have yours yet, then all you have to do is pop to Amazon and type into the search Deborah Laws, and all 3 books will come up. So the ultimate dance business planner I designed for you so that you had a little bit of a Deborah on your desktop. The planners are full of business training, tips, motivational quotes, things to do at the start of the month, things to do at the end of the month, ways in which you can plan out your marketing and your retention. And they are selling all over the world. So go to Amazon, grab your #1 best-selling Ultimate Dance Business Planner and enjoy mapping out the growth for your studio. So you have to jump on this bandwagon of telling everybody how good you are, because if you don't, you are going to get left behind. You are going to have other schools that will take over. You are going to have kids that may even leave and go to the rubbish competitor down the road, which is just soul destroying, isn't it? So what could you be doing, even when you're cringing slightly? What could you be doing to brag a bit more about your school? Well, first of all, let's start with you, my darling. Like, you're the principal. What was your background? What is your performing background? What are your qualifications? What is your experience? What is your passion? What is it that people need to know about you that makes your school credible? Are you telling people what you've done? Are you telling people, did you know, actually, you go to the dance school with the principal with the highest qualifications in your county? Like, what is there about you that people really should know? Do you put yourself out there? Do you ever have pictures of you out there? I know some of you are horrendous at this. Like, you'll do everything and anything to keep your photo off your website or off social media. It's not about me. It's not about me. It's about the kids. It is about you. Honestly, it is about you, because you are the creator. You are the visionary. You are the leader, the captain of the ship. So it 100% is about you. Yes, you don't want the focus to be constantly on you. You want it to be on the kids and the students and what you do. But people need to know you and why you're good at what you do. And then, do you brag about your team? Do you post? We used to have a Meet Mondays post, and every Monday we would do a little blog type post about our teachers and what they've done and what they're good at. And that includes things like courses that they've just been on, CPD, or maybe they've been to see a show at the weekend. And that is constantly feeding into their inspiration. So are you bragging about your teachers and how great they are, and what they've done in the past, what they're doing now, what they're doing in the future? And then, of course, we need to brag about our successes. Like, did you know I've grown my school from 0 to 80 in a year? Did you know that such and such a student is going off to whatever college? Did you know that one of our past students has now created a franchise? What is it that you've got that you can currently think of that you could really brag about if you were a bit bolder with your bragging? So I'd love you to pause the podcast and write a list for me of all the different things you could brag about. And I don't care how uncomfortable it is, because at the moment we're just writing a list. Like, that's fine, isn't it? No one even needs to see the list. But write everything that you are good at, that your team are good at, that your students are good at, and then start to write all the successes that you possibly can. I want you to have a whole page full of reasons why people should come to your school, because of all the different wonderful things you do, have done, are going to do. And I want you to just brag, 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 like really show off onto your piece of paper, however uncomfortable that makes you feel. And it can be things like, I am great at, we are great at, our students are amazing because. Like, I want you to get really uncomfortable doing this. I want you to really get out of your comfort zone. I want you to boast like crazy onto that piece of paper. And then I want you to think, right now, how can I back this up? Like, I could turn around and say, I'm the best dance principal in the whole country, but I'd have to have some kind of actual evidence to back that up for it to really hit home, for it to really make a difference. So what have you got next to all these things that you wrote down on your piece of paper that is evidence that can back that up? So, you might be saying, we have the most incredible exam results, but then, how do you back that up? Are you going to back that up by saying we had 100% pass rate or 70% distinction? Like, how can you back up a student's success? One of our students recently auditioned for X and was one of 2,000 kids to audition, and they only picked 15. Like, what's the actual evidence that you've got to back up the things that you are going to be bragging about? Because it's much easier to brag when you can say, and this is how I can prove it, type thing. So once you have picked out the things that you wrote down that you've got evidence to support, I want you to think then about, okay, so what do I do with this now? Like, wow, I'm so proud of myself, actually, because when I do look at this, this massive list of things that we've done really well at, or that, that we are going, currently working towards, when I back that up with the evidence, it's actually a lot. So have you got testimonials, results, photos, video footage? Like, now you need to start to pull together your assets. So I want you to think about what the assets are that back up the proof, the social proof that back up the bragging. We want these things on your website. We want these things on your social media. We want these things on flyers. Like, I want you to think of all the different ways. Can you do posters up at your studio? Is there something that you can say about your studio that you could have painted as a mural on your studio wall? Like, I want you to really think then about, and where can we put this information? Where can we brag about it? I'm sure you have got like a year's worth of social media proof that you've now put on that piece of paper that you could put out one a week. Like, you've probably got tons of stuff now. So I want you to try and go through this little process that I've explained today. Brainstorm what you could brag about. Brainstorm the evidence that you've got to support that. brainstorm the places that you could put it. Three key elements to this task. And don't be afraid to do it, because you are awesome. You are creating something very magical for those students that walk through your door. And when you become a little bit more confident about bragging about yourself, about putting yourself and your school and what you're achieving out there into the world, people will come. People will be intoxicated by the success that you have and what you're achieving and what other people's kids are getting from being a part of your school. And you will start to really build your brand. And then when those schools do start up in your local vicinity, you are untouchable. Like, they can start, as many of them can start as they want, but yours is going to be the one that people are going to go to. And if nothing else, you will at least be able to keep up. You won't get left behind. So I hope that has helped you a little bit today. I really feel you have a duty to show off a little bit more, because the more you do that, the more clients you will attract and the more little lives or adult lives you are going to touch. So think of it as your duty. Deborah says, it's my duty to blow my own trumpet. I'd love to know what it is that you are going to blow your trumpet about. And come find me in Dance Business Lab community on Facebook or at Dance Business Lab on Instagram, and just share with me what it is that you feel you can brag about, even if it's just one thing, and then share with me where you're going to brag about it, because I really want to hold you guys accountable to this one today. All right, my darlings, I hope that has inspired you to go and be a bit bigger and bolder, and I look forward to hearing your results. Take care, everyone. So I wanted to quickly tell you a little bit about Showtime Circus. This is run by my good friend Jess, who has created an incredible circus bolt-on franchise for your dance school. Because aerial and circus performance skills has become a really desirable skill set for choreographers and casting directors. And so Showtime Circus offers the opportunity to buy a franchise package, which will give you all of your necessary equipment, training from experienced staff, syllabus plans, ongoing support, and business support to launch your new franchise. It will really energize your school with increased revenue streams, new student opportunities, and of course, bring all the fun of the circus to your school. So do go and visit showtimecircus.co.uk to find out what the new buzz is around circus skills.